the weekly feed. Kyle Meredith, and this week, Afie Jervanen of Bahamas.
Hey.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Welcome. The new record, Bahamas Is Afie, really spelling it out for everybody right there. But now I know you as the man who almost killed James Franco. And I like this. This is good.
Right.
It's coming from someone who's really not a Franco fan.
Right.
Your song All the Time ends up in the commercial, and Franco is falling to his death. Of course, the only thing that was unfortunate that you didn't complete.
I thought it was kind of unfortunate that I didn't get a free phone or anything like that.
Is it true?
Yeah, nothing. I could have used one.
I mean, I would hope that they paid a little bit so you could have actually bought. I mean, you don't want to. You do the thing. I get it. Give me the free phone.
Yeah, they pay quite well. It's that's how most musicians make a living now.
That's true.
Nobody's buying the albums, so we look to other revenue streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there ever a time when a musician really could survive completely off the album sales? Because I remember even.
Absolutely.
Springsteen in the '80s, though. I was sure the label probably got a lot of that with the kind of deals they did back in the '70s and '80s.
Well, for sure. I mean, I can't speak to the particulars of anyone else's deal, but it's just a numbers game, right? Yeah. If you're selling 50 or 1,000 or 100,000 records, and you're not making any money, then you're probably spending too much money.
Right.
But those albums, man, oh man, they didn't. It's not like they spared any expense, right? Especially when the videos came around and started spending $500,000 on a.
Everybody had a jet just to go to the grocery store, and.
So now it's a different time now.
Yeah.
I think in general you sell a lot less records, and so you just sort of look to other places to make. Keep the bus rolling, so to speak.
And you've been doing this long enough. Have you kind of figured it out, how to budget well? And because you're a mid-level artist, right?
That's a very apt description. A mid-level artist. I mean, yeah, I've always been really fortunate that we're able to just sort of keep doing what we're doing. It's not like there's any sort of great change. It's not a lot of luxury, as far as us traveling around or anything. We're still traveling in a van and all that, but. I'm really lucky that I'm from Canada because they have a lot of subsidies and stuff like that for the arts there. So that's more or less how I'm able to afford bringing a band on the road. I do a fair amount of touring solo, and that's when I can't afford to bring my band. So you can apply for grants and these types of things to help offset the costs. But
would that ever work here in the States?
I don't know. I mean, there's so.
Is it specific? Is there a reason why it works so well? Why they went for it there and it doesn't exist anywhere else?
Well, first of all, we're 1/10 the size, right? There's only
that's
35 million people there.
Yeah. So. Would that totally break it just because of the amount?
You would have to have so much more money, I would imagine, to even give people a fair shot, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think I probably shouldn't speak too much because I'm not American, but I think there's other things that. You guys could be spending your money on, maybe.
There's a lot of things you could be spending. You're talking to the like-minded here. It's fine.
Healthcare and your education and all that stuff sorted out, and then start paying people to make weird improvisational jazz records and.
I'm hopeful, and I go through the years where I'm not, where I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is just getting worse. But I get hopeful, like little things turn around, and I don't know.
I think the one thing that's
we
nice
might
here,
be too big.
There's one, the difference that I notice is that there's a competitive edge here, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think there's so many great musicians just putting out records all the time that it really forces you to. Up the quality of what you're doing, and I think any time that you're in a situation that sort of pushes you, I think that's a good thing. So whatever it is,
Have you been listening to Hot Country? I'm not really sure that's the
Hot
case.
Country?
Hot Country.
Like, is that a?
You're talking about a lot of good music out there, but there's also this thing called Hot Country. That's
I kind of like hot country. I don't know.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my youth listening to Alan Jackson and Vince Gill and Travis Tritt and stuff. So, if that falls under hot country,
it would have been then. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, bring it back.
Hot country and bro country and all of those things. I'm not really sure the competition's really there as much as the, hey, this formula works, and they'll keep giving us money for it.
Right.
Over and over.
Well,
your life could be so much easier if you became a hot country artist.
I should
you really
think
wouldn't
about
have
doing
to,
that.
Yeah.
I have thought about doing that. But
No, but you do. You make this. You've made this really, really great record. I know you've had
Thank you.
Some really nice accolades coming through at the end of the year and such, and especially All the Time. The song All the Time really even seems like a surprise hit to me. Like there's something like when I'd first heard that song, it's not like it just jumps out like Stronger Than That, like instant single. Yeah, obviously a single, and a song like Little Record Girl is really catchy. And then you hear All the Time, and you're like, really cool song. Never would have expected it to kind of do. I don't know. The formula is weird or whatever. And there's a countryman of yours, Dan Mangan.
Yeah.
Who once said, it seems that the weirder I get, the more popular I get.
Right.
And that almost seems the case now with All the Time. I mean, when you wrote that song, did you ever have an inkling like, no, this will work. This will do it for me?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I'm not trying to make records that are like the 50th best record. I'm trying to make the best record I can, So it's not that I like expect it to be this great, huge smash success, but at the same time, like I do think the quality is high. I can stand behind it, and if other people get behind it, then that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have a career in music, which is hard to do. So you can never pinpoint what song people are going to grab onto. You can sort of try and ram things down people's throat, but often it'll be like track 8. Or whatever, side B that just like that really sort of grabs them. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad that song has some traction because I like playing it. Yeah. And it's it can take on some different shapes, So it's nice to have songs that are sort of malleable and agile.
Yeah, and it's a really unique song. I do love it. You were talking about the album and everything, and I've heard you tell the story many times now about why you titled it Bahamas Is Afie, and you have this line about a more realized version of myself. And I started thinking, I was like, what was the case on the last 2 records? Did you not think at the time that this was the most realized version of myself, to the point where you come on the next record, what's this one going to look like?
Well, I would hope that if I make another record, it's just that much deeper into some truer version of who I am and what I'm doing. But I think that these I guess what I was referencing is just my state of mind. Where I'm at, I'm a lot more comfortable with what I'm doing and who I am, and so I think that sort of confidence is reflected in the music. And yeah, and on the last 2, the first 2 records, it's, I have really sort of fond memories of making those 2 records, but I can say that I didn't really know. I didn't have a clear vision. It was a lot more of like, let's just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks, you know? And
it's good spaghetti, by the way.
Yeah.
What you made there was still good spaghetti.
No, and it's nice when you sort of have no expectations, because then you're always going to end up being surprised. And the first 2 albums were very much made that way. But this one, as I said earlier, as I was writing the songs, just all these ideas were coming, constantly. I'm like, wow, I got ideas for rhythm and arrangements and all this different stuff. And so I think that's what I mean when I say it's a more realized thing, And I got to play a lot of the instruments, and so there's just a lot of me on there, and I realize that it's probably wrapped up in ego and all this other kind of stuff, but
that's where you start playing Willie Nelson's version of All of Me, right there.
Yes. Well, I
know this. Right. Yeah, that's a big album for you with the Stardust.
I love Stardust.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't like? I mean, how can you not love Stardust? Let me put that. There's got to be some soulless person out there.
Yeah.
That this.
I don't know. I can't even joke about it. It's too sacred for me. I love that album.
How close have you coming? How close have you came? There we go. To writing the perfect love song.
Geez, I'm always trying. Always trying. I don't know. I think the Sunshine Blues off of my first album, I still love singing that song. I think it sort of has a naivety to it that there's just a purity there, you know what I mean? It's not trying to be complex at all. So I would say that's pretty close for me, but yeah, there's just, I think that's kind of that's always the goal for me, is always to have a love song that has both sides. You want to have a very sad song that's full of love, and that's if you don't have one or the other, then you kind of people call that cheesy.
Yeah,
so you got to have both. You know,
the simplicity that you're talking about. You know, it's almost a surprising thing about when I listen to some of your songs is, you know, in one ear and rattling around up there and enjoying it, and you pass by thinking, you know, that it's this big complex thing, and when, you know, I stop to listen to some of these songs, they are so basic, you know, musically, so basic. And is there ever a point when you're writing these and going, I can't do G, C, D? I can't.
Never.
You know, is there, you know, where you go, because the song obviously works, you know, but you know, I don't know what it is, you know, in that depth of songwriting where you're going, nope, it's got to be something else. It can't be that.
I think there's no shortage of artists who want to spend a lot of effort making things complicated or you know, lots of different chords. And I say, go for it. You can have all the chords, you know, have them all. Because I look at guys like Tony Rice or Van Morrison, and they literally play the same 3 chords over and over again through their whole career. You know what I mean? A whole career. So, you know, as you progress as a musician, the things that I hear now when I play G, C, and D are so different from the things that I heard 10 years ago. And I would imagine that 10 years from now, hopefully there will be that much more music that's just unlocked within those 3 chords, you know?
That's crazy that can even happen, though.
It's like anything else in life, you know? Think about, you know, if all you made was fried egg sandwiches for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I bet you want to eat the one that you've made after 10 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the egg will be cooked perfectly, the bread will be toasted just the way you want it, you know what I mean? Like you'll have discovered the perfect Himalayan sea salt and it's all that stuff. It just takes time, right? So you can't, you know, there's no way to really sort of rush through that. And
you know, one of the songs on the record with a little record girl we were talking about earlier, and
it's G, C, and D.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
I did not know that. But it, you know, kind of a similar.
So literally no other chords in that song.
I think you're messing with me.
No, I'm not.
Really?
We can go through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, but what I'm getting to, and without even knowing that, but similar statement, you know, that song could have existed in 1957. That song could have been a Buddy Holly tune or something like that.
Yeah, I love Buddy Holly.
But it doesn't exactly sound like that. And I guess that's what you're getting to. It's like it's, you know, that comes out in 2014 and it sounds 2014, and you found a way to take that old sound and make it not sound like you were totally copying that.
Well, thank you. I don't know if that was meant to be a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to be retro or sound, you know, like something from the past. I mean, I'm wearing a very modern technical garment. This is 2014. I got an iPhone in my pocket. I mean, it would be facetious if I tried to sort of put out something that was from that time, you know?
Although, you know, if we had the time machines, I think you'd do okay in the 50s.
Well, I mean, sure, there's lots of things I love about that time period, you know, from an aesthetic standpoint and just the music and...
Maybe not the medicine, but...
Yeah, I think that some things have come a long way. But yeah, I think musically, I would hope to make music that's relevant to the time I'm living in, and you know, hopefully stays relevant as the years go on. You know, it's very, very hard to know as you're making something if that you know, if the song has that quality. Every once in a while, you're like, yes, this is you know, this has it, but. Yeah, that's part of the challenge, you know.
Well, probably then the most important question with all of this, do you think we'll ever figure out time travel?
I think we have started to do that, you know. I think we've started to suspend our lives with the phones and.
Well, no one ever really dies
stuff
anymore, which is true. You can live. I mean, you know, you exist somewhere. Yeah.
Considering the advancements and things that we've seen just in my short lifetime, I would imagine by the end of my life, there will be some things that are just unrecognizable. It's kind of scary to think about, you know.
I'm hearing scientists say that if people of our age make it long enough, which I don't know what that means, like in their 90s or something, there's a chance you could just not die. They'll have figured out the pill to make your DNA, you know, you'll not die of natural causes, I should say, you know, or something like that. So you could.
that presents a whole new set of problems, you know. Who wants that anxiety? Oh God, not me.
I think it'd be fun to make it past like into several hundred years, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You'd probably get bored eventually, 400 or 500 years in, but you know, that'd be, the sea turtles, they can't have all the fun. They get
I'm not even that old and I'm already griping about the young people, so I don't know if I want to spend another 200 years complaining about teenagers and stuff, you know? Yeah.
At that point, you're complaining about 90-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, damn 90-year-olds today. All right, Afie, thank you so much.
Yeah,
The new
cheers.
record is fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's get out of here and go find us a fried egg sandwich on some perfect Himalayan salted
Amazing.
toast.
Lead the way.
All right.
All right.
All right. It's the weekly feed.